Anything you could put your thumb on why you guys have struggled against top 10 teams?
Um, Depends on how what you define struggling as. Are you winning the games, or if you look at it in terms of winning, yeah, I guess our record doesn't really reflect everything that goes into it. And you prepare very hard, and you get one opportunity and one shot to go out there and do that. And you don't win those games, and obviously it's very emotional, especially going into this game. And you go out there and you're looking at the scoreboard and it's 21-0, but we fought our way all the way back to present ourselves with an opportunity to win the game. And the score of the game and the records of those ranked matchups that you're talking about, they don't reflect that. And it's kind of it's a curse and it's a blessing, but it doesn't reflect everything that goes into those games and the preparation and how they've been on your mind since last time you played them or last time you lost to them. And sometimes just they don't go your way, but those you don't document the fight or the good plays and the positives of those games. The only thing that gets recorded is the score and the record.
Carlo, what's key to combating the early holes? I mean, you guys went down big at Wisconsin. You went down big against Penn State. How do you get yourself out of that?
Well, is it getting yourself out of it, or is it what's the response and how are we going to respond after that? And I think that's the beauty of it, is we were down 21-0. We've been in pressure situations before, and it's the response to it. Because when you play good teams and you play top 10 teams, they're going to come out and they're going to score points. It's just what's going to happen. There's going to be explosive plays. There's going to be good plays. But how are you going to handle them? How are you going to handle those moments? How are you going to respond to those moments? And coming out there and being able to put ourselves in a position to win the game is probably the best thing that you can do coming from those moments.
Along those lines of responding, I know it's only been like 36 hours. You haven't had a full practice yet. How have you seen the guys on the team respond to Saturday's loss?
It's just kind of going from the locker room and realizing that this, yes, we lost, but you got to remember this isn't our last game of the year. This isn't, all right, we're done. Let's start packing up. We'll get ready for next season. We have top 10 matchups coming up, and the big thing is we have one this Saturday. And we have another opportunity on the national stage to go out there, play in front of our home fans, and go out there and represent Michigan and play on a big stage and go out there and carry and build off all the positives that we did offensively and defensively in that Penn State game.
Kind of along those lines, what would you say this team has left to play for with the Big Ten title hopes taking a hit with a couple losses? What's left to play? How would you put in that in words?
What's left to play is we got our whole season left. We're at this point, we're at the midway point. We got 5 games coming up, and every team on there is a Big Ten team, and they're good teams. And we've got 3 of the most important rivalries in college football coming up. You got Notre Dame, you got Michigan State, and then you got the game at the end of the year. And those are the games that you play for. Those are the teams that you're going to want to play for. And we're not just going to sit here and be like, all right, we're done, and go out there and just coast the rest of the season. Our whole mentality during that Penn State game is, all right, what's the response? One play at a time, one series at a time. Speaking defensively, get the ball back to our offense. Let them get a chance to score. And it didn't matter if they scored, if they punted, if we kicked a field goal. Let's go. Get the ball to the offense. Get a stop. Next play. And that's where our mind's at right now. We're not worried about, okay, what's our national championship hopes? What are our Big Ten hopes? Those are all outcomes. Those will happen if they happen. But we got to focus on what's coming up. And what's guaranteed is that Notre Dame game. And that game is coming Saturday. We have an opportunity to go out there and play in front of our home fans and go play under the lights.
What needs to happen to get that W on Saturday?
Hard work, getting back on starting today. Watch the film, see the things that hurt us, and try to minimize those going forward. And it's building off that emotion and that mindset and the preparation that we had in that Penn State game and bringing it this Saturday.
What hurt you guys on Saturday defensively?
Well, what hurt us is, you just play a good team like Penn State, who has very dynamic players, and they're ranked 7th for a reason. They're a good team, they're well coached, and what we got to do is just, one of the biggest things that we've done this season is it's just how we respond to big plays, how to respond to explosive plays. And we did a great job of that. You know, there was times where, you know, they got, you know, 30-yard plays or 20-yard runs, and those are big plays in football. And what are we going to do? Are we going to let them get another one? But it's when you're running to the ball and you're looking at Coach Brown trying to get the next call, they're going hurry up, and it's looking in everybody's eye and like, guys, we're good. Let's settle down, let's refocus, and let's stop them here. And there's been plenty of opportunities, not just in the Penn State game, but even in the Wisconsin game where, you know, in the second half, they had 7 points in that game. This half, they had 7 points, and, you know, cutting down on those plays, cutting down on big chunk plays, and cutting down on, you know, letting people score.
How have you seen Josh Uche develop kind of from a pass rushing specialist to an every down guy who's kind of all over the field?
I know, Uche is just, you know, he's a monster, and he's taken on this mindset of, I'm not just a one-sided guy. Like, I'm complete, and he takes that as personal. And you feel that in practice where he's banging into guys, running into guys, and you're just like, okay, this guy can't wait till Saturday comes so he can, you know, take it out on somebody else. And he's been doing that, you know, for the last 2 years where he's just improved every single day, not just on his pass rush, but being able to know I can cover people, I can fill runs, I'm physical, and he's done that every single game, and he's building off of that, and you can see it, you know. Last game, you get to see him in closing speed on the quarterback, you get to see him in coverage, and obviously all he's done is just build on that, you know, big plays, big tackles, crucial tackles, and I'm just so happy for him.
Speaking of coverage, you remember what you thought, or when he was like, I don't know, 40 yards on the field, helping break up a pass?
Oh, I know. It's, you know, we're running our defensive stunt, and you look around, you turn around, you see Uche flying to the football, and you see him get his hand in there, and then you see the great play by Brad coming in there and just making a collision, and it's a great play, especially because you see him running and you see him close to the football, and he's just, every single game, he's just improving on something because he takes everything so personal.
What do you tell the younger guys who maybe haven't been through this before to kind of instill that message that the season's not over, there's still things left to play for?
It's just, you know, it's just that feeling of one game at a time, brick by brick. That's been our whole mentality. You don't look at outcomes. You don't look at what's going to happen because you got things that are going to happen. What's going to happen is we have to play this game. It's just not going to go away. It's coming. Saturday will come, and you got to be here for it. If your mind is, you know, 4 weeks from now, that's not going to be effective. That's not going to help us win this game. The biggest game that we have coming up is the one on Saturday.
Was that something that was hard, or a mentality that was hard for you to keep when you were an underclassman?
No, because we had great leadership and great captains when I was younger that, you know, did this type of mindset and did this type of work, and they were under pressure situations when I was younger, and it was, okay, how are they going to respond? And it was learning that and developing that and getting to this point now where, okay, now it's my turn. I got to share this same wisdom that was taught to me with the younger guys now.
What does this Notre Dame game mean to you? If I'm not mistaken, they were the other finalist in your recruitment, right?
Right. I mean, it's historic, and being able to be a part of this game and coming up on Saturday, and you know, you take two teams that have tremendous tradition, a winning mentality, and you get to be a part of that on Saturday. And you know, one of the things I think that's really cool is this game. I don't think is scheduled for a little bit, so there's a chance to make a name for yourself, a name for this team, a name for the offense, a name for the defense historically, and they can talk about, you know, what happened in this Michigan-Notre Dame game in 2019.
And why, if you can remember back, what made you choose Michigan over Notre Dame?
Being able to play top football and get a top education were two of the biggest things I look at, and I just love the city of Ann Arbor a lot.
You're talking about the big plays and responding to them. When you go back and look at film, is the goal? I mean, the goal has to be preventing them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have you diagnosed something this season that's, you know, there were quite a few in the Wisconsin game. There were a few in the Army game.
Right.
And you're not going to have a perfect game, but how do you? Is there something a constant thread, a consistent thread?
Well, it's just when you play good teams who have players that can make plays, it's just going to happen. But the biggest thing is that we've worked on, and the biggest thing, what is always going to be the biggest thing, is how do you respond to those moments? Are you going to back down? Are you going to let them get 40 yards, and then you're going to let them get another 20 yards, and then you're going to let them score? Or are you gonna, okay, they got their play. Let's go out there, let's make our play. Let's do what we do, let's get back to this. And it was kind of, that what I was kind of describing a little bit earlier was, it's that chaos moment where, okay, you see a guy running and he's got the ball and, you're 40 yards here and he just got tackled. Now everybody's got to run here fast. You got to look everybody in the eye and be like, we're good. We're good. This is not how this game goes. This is just what happened this one play. Now it's a response. And there was moments like that in the Penn State game where, they take the opening kickoff back to start the half. And that's a big momentum changer. You're like, oh no. But they blocked somebody in the back, they got a holding call, and we look around as a defense and we were like, this is all we needed. We just needed the chance to be able to defend however much grass is possible to defend. We went out there and we got to stop and got the ball to our offense. And that's the biggest moments. Those are the crucial things that you got to continue to build and continue to do.
How did you guys diagnose the one big play to Hamler in the second half? Coach Harbaugh was saying maybe there was a mix-up with the signals or something on that play.
In the first half?
The second half play, yeah, the long touchdown.
Hamler's he's a good player, and he, had the opportunity to get open, and he did that. And but like I said, that happens in the game, and we're all involved in that. It's not everyone's gonna see the one-on-one matchup because it was, man coverage and it's him versus one of our guys, and everyone's gonna see that and be like, that's not how this works. There's 4 D linemen that got to get to the quarterback. If you get pressure on the quarterback, the play doesn't happen. And everyone's going to look at just, the matchup, not how everything goes. If we get more pressure, if I get to the quarterback, if I do something you got to help those guys out. They're on an island out there. They're by themselves, and they have a tough matchup with, any guy who you play in his face every single play. It's a tough matchup. And everybody's involved in that, and it's a play that everyone's just going to remember the touchdown and him being open, but you got to look at everybody, and I hold myself very responsible for not being able to do something on that play and help one of my brothers out on that play.
Jim said there was a signal missed on that play. I guess how do you prevent those kinds of mistakes from happening in those spots?
Well, everyone's just got to be involved. We all got to be looking for the signal. We can't just be running and, getting to the football and not looking for the signal. We're all involved on getting the signals. It's not just one man's job to get everybody right. We all have a role, just like we all have a role in that play. We all have a role and responsibility to know the signals, look at Coach Brown and get the signal and help everybody get lined up. That's not just on one person to, have to man a whole 11-man defense, and especially in a crowd that's loud, they're screaming, and he's only got one voice and they've got 100,000. We all got to help each other out.
Michigan and Notre Dame historically have invited a ton of preseason hype each year. I mean, how much do you guys, how do you manage those preseason expectations and not maybe eat the cheese so much that is kind of put out there for you guys?
Well, there's been a lot of, expectations that are, always put on this team, especially going into this year. And those expectations, we don't focus on none of that stuff. We focus on what we're able to do, what we're capable of doing, and let's focus on the next game. And you don't worry, expectations, like I was saying, those are just outcomes. And you start focusing on expectations where it's like, oh, we're supposed to do this. Oh, we were supposed to. None of that really matters because it's what did happen and it's what didn't happen. And what's going to happen is we got this opportunity to play this Saturday in one of the most historic games with 2 historic programs.
Speaking of defending, Jim was out here, kind of called out that Connor guy who said something about Ronnie Bell, and Quiddy was pretty eloquent talking about social media and what coaches, have people ever instructed you how to handle negative commentary anywhere on social media? Whatever?
I don't have Twitter, so it's just terrible what, can go on there. And, it's really sad to see stuff like that. And especially for Ronnie, because you talk about a guy that's a team guy, wears his emotions in his play. And he goes out there and he's working as hard as he can to get open on the last offensive play of the game. And sometimes it just doesn't go your way. And, everyone's going to look at that play and be like, Ronnie, that's not how the game works. Look at the season. Look at the game. He's out there and he's blocking for his teammates. He's helping people get open. He's the guy that gets us going. He's coming to the defense and he's getting us motivated. And it's not even if he's saying something. It's just him, high-fiving us. He's like, "We got you. We're good." And it's like, "We got you too." And he's been doing that throughout the season. And for something like that to happen, and it's like, okay, if he catches the ball, you love him. He drops the ball, you hate him. It makes no sense, and it's upsetting, and it's hard because it's one of my teammates. It's tough to hear stuff like that, and no one's gonna we had the opportunity to, after that play, get a stop, and no one, everyone's gonna look at Ronnie as if that's what the game came down to. It's ridiculous, and Ronnie, he's just doing a tremendous job of being able to just rise above. And trust me, he's going to come back this week, and I know the type of mentality he's going to have because he's had it his entire time he's been here.
Was it hard for you to see him so, he was pretty emotional on the sideline after that?
Yeah, it's tough to see any of your teammates like that. And you just, you always want everyone to be happy, and you want that celebration. You don't want to see none of your teammates like that, but when you are so emotionally involved and everything in the game, and you take everything in the week leading up to it, stuff like that happens. And you just don't want to see a guy that's, down, and you don't want him to feel like the whole game was on him when there was 60 plays on defense and 100 plays on offense. There's a lot that goes into a football game, and I know how Ronnie's going to respond.
Okay, that's all for